Hello, everybody. Welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Taps and I am the maker and creator behind Safari Stitches. And today is a fun little, chatty catch up. So grab a cozy cup of coffee or tea or or whatever you might be sipping on right now. Grab a whip, set up in your little yarn goblin station, and let's just have a chat because I have not picked up my camera to film anything in probably over 2 weeks now. If you didn't know, I just got back from a 1.5 week long trip across the pond to the UK. I am originally from London, or south of London, and my entire family is over there. So we booked a massive family trip over there for the last basically 2 weeks. It was 10 days. I have not been to the UK in over 15 years. Just to give a little bit of a backstory here. And we will be talking about crocheting because I did take crochet stuff, and we're going to talk a little bit about how I manage my business while I'm out of town. I go out of town every so often for weekends and like a couple of days here and there. So there's just like some things that I put in place before I leave, and we're going to chat about that too. So stay tuned. But the last time I went back, I went on a trip with my high school best friend. Technically, it was middle school because it was in between 8th and 9th grade when I was like 15. I think I was turning 15. I apologize in advance. I did pick up something. I think my immune system was just completely shot by the end of our trip, and I've definitely picked up the crud or something. I don't really know. I'm feeling okay, but I'm a little bit congested and some other things. We'll get into that. If you've been following me on Instagram, you've kind of seen little updates of my trip here and there. You've been seeing what's been going on with me for the last 5 days. But anyways, as I was saying, the last time I went, I did a trip with my middle school best friend. Just the two of us flew over for a week, and we stayed with my grandparents, and they took us around, and that was 15. I'm about to turn 32, and that was when I was 15. So that was the last time I went over to see all of my family. Since then, my aunt and cousin have come over here twice, maybe, but again, that was probably at least 10 years ago was the last time they came over here. My grandparents have been about the same. If you have ever flown internationally, you know it's very expensive. We are a family of 5, so it's even more expensive. And now that we're all adults, like we were really struggling to kind of schedule time when all of us were available for a trip because either some of us were in school and were limited to school breaks or the summer. I've had a job for the last 9 years, and PTO is just fairly limited with a full-time job, especially in a job like mine. We have deadlines and stuff, and sometimes it can be really hard to peel off time to go out of town like this. So this was the first time in a very long time that we were able to all get the time off. My brother did have to come a couple of days late because he couldn't get the time off work, but we were all there. I might get emotional talking about this. It's one of those things that you don't realize what you're missing until you experience it again. And okay, sorry, had to collect myself. Being around my entire family again like that was just like, holy cow, because we are the only ones here in the US. It's my parents and my siblings and I. And my parents moved here when I was like 6 months old. We lived in Connecticut for like 2.5 years, and then we moved to Georgia. So I kind of grew up just with like limited time spent with my family in the first place, because we would go for Christmas for like a 1.5 weeks or maybe just a week sometimes. It had to be a little bit longer because we would do Christmas and New Year's there. So that's just kind of like what I was used to. And then not having those trips consistently because we stopped. My dad lost his job, and it just got really hard. Like, I think flight prices, it was like $2,000 per person. And with a family of 5, it's just not, for any normal family, it is just not feasible to fly that many people overseas. It's just not. It's not realistic. It's not affordable. So I have not had my family around for a very, very, very long time. So that in and of itself was so incredible. Like, I don't even care about like the sightseeing and going into London and seeing like all the architecture and all the history. That literally means nothing to me compared to just being around my family again. I don't know. It's just kind of like the motivation that I need to make an effort to stay in touch better. And because like we're in a huge family group chat and I just haven't been very active in it because I haven't seen most of them in over 15 years. My cousins, who were like knee high to a grasshopper the last time I saw them, are all grown adults and working and living their lives, and so much has happened. And I'm the kind of person, I'm a very, very introverted, shy, which does not come across here. So you wouldn't think that I'm an introverted person and doing like in-person events and having to interact with people all the time with a customer service based business. But as silly as it sounds, I felt awkward interacting with my family that I haven't seen in 15 years. And now that I've had that face-to-face, like, I mean, literally, it was like nothing had ever happened. It was like I had seen them the day before. It was just so crazy. I loved every single second of it. It was fantastic. I'm going to scooch over a little bit because I'm just going to kind of like talk to you guys about what we did, just kind of give you a little bit of a trip recap. I'm going to pop up some really cool pictures and videos and stuff that I took while we were over there. I didn't take a whole lot, to be honest. I was really trying to live in the moment and not like spend the whole time on my phone. So the first day we got there, obviously jet lag, we just kind of chilled a little bit, hung out. We went to a local restaurant in the town near my grandparents' house. And then the day after, we did a pub crawl through one of the local villages, I guess, near my grandparents. And when I say a pub crawl, I'm talking like super old buildings. Like this one here that I'm popping up on the screen right now was built in like the 1100s, which is like so mind-blowing to me that this was built in the 1100s. It was beautiful. We sat outside. The view was absolutely stunning of just like the English countryside. Gorgeous. Absolutely amazing. So we did that the first full day that we were there. And then on the Saturday, my cousin got married, and that was really the biggest reason we were able to coordinate. It was kind of like the excuse that we needed to all coordinate, being able to go at the same time. So we had the wedding. It was absolutely beautiful. My cousin's wife is so lovely, and it was such a nice ceremony. It was super small and intimate. They had a party afterwards. It was just a really good time. And then the Sunday after that, we drove down to Brighton. One of my cousins lives in Brighton, so we went down there, spent the day walking around, obviously saw the British coast, which is very different from any coast really here. Well, maybe not any coast, but the coasts that I'm used to here, like Florida, it's all sandy beaches. Very, very different. New England has beaches that are similar to what we experienced. We saw some in Maine, but we spent the whole day in Brighton. They have like a pier with slot machines that you put coins in and you can win tickets. We had a really good time there. And then the day after that was the first day that we spent in London, and we did a bus tour all around on an open air double-decker bus. And then my dad and my fiance and I walked down the South Bank, and it was like a nice hour-long walk down the Thames, which was gorgeous. We got to see so much stuff, and then the view right at the end of Westminster Abbey and Big Ben, the London Eye. It was just like a really nice way to just kind of finish off the day. And then on the Tuesday, we drove to Oxford. Now, this was a really fun part of our trip because I have never been to Oxford. My mom has never been to Oxford before this. And so it was something that we had never done as a family before. So this was a fully, like, I've seen London so many times. I still am in awe every time I go, regardless of how many times I've been. But to go to Oxford, to see Oxford University, I was so stinking excited about going to Oxford University. It was so incredibly beautiful. The buildings, all of the different colleges. We found this like hole in the wall pub that was down an alleyway, and it was like you had to go down an alley, turn right, go down another alley, turn left, go down another alley, and then it was like this cute little secluded area for this little pub. I took a little video of the inside at the actual bar. This was another one that was built back in like the 1100s, and it was so beautiful. And then we got an Airbnb in the Cotswolds that night, which is okay. This is the fun part because if you are a Top Gear fan, Jeremy Clarkson lives in the Cotswolds out in the UK in Chipping Norton in the Cotswolds, which is such a weird name. And he owns a farm and he has a TV show. It's on Amazon Prime. If you love dry British humor, you need to watch this show. It is hysterical, but it's also amazing because he's never farmed before, but he bought this farm, has this beautiful house, and he's learning how to become a farmer in the UK. He's really bringing attention to the lack of funding, the lack of support, the hardships of being a farmer in the UK, and really just trying to bring awareness to help the UK farmers. And from this show, he obviously started, well, I say he obviously, if you've never watched the show, you don't know, but he started a farm shop. So everything he grows on his farm is sold in the farm shop. And then that's kind of branched out into the Farmer's Dog, which is a pub that he built. And they only sell UK raised and made products in the pub. Like the food is all UK farmers, and then he has the Farmer's Dog, might be actually the Farmer's Puppy, I can't quite, I don't know, but he's got a, basically in the same space, there's Farmer's Dog, the pub where you can go and eat, and then there's a farm shop where they sell all British made goods and stuff, and it's just so incredible. They even have like a sign on, they have like a food truck that sells burgers and things, and they even have a sign that says we do not have ketchup because ketchup is not made in the UK. Like nobody in the UK makes ketchup for whatever reason, and so they were like, do not ask us for ketchup because we don't have any. So he like really sticks to only selling things that are UK made and raised, and I love that so much. It's true farm to table. The food was insane. It was so good. I was an Instagram girly that day, and I took pictures of all of my food that I had. It was so good. And of course, we went shopping and we brought back spices. We brought back a pot of honey. We brought back some hand-poured wax melts. We brought, I mean, they make their own gin and whiskey, honey whiskey. We bought some of that and brought it back. Like, we went a little crazy, I can't lie. And then we went off to his actual farm where his house is and where he actually grows all of his products and everything. And there's a little farm shop there. So we went there, we sat down and had a drink, and then the view up there was just absolutely gorgeous as well. It was just so good. I literally loved every single second of it. It was beautiful. I think I got my days switched around. I think that was what we did on Tuesday, and then Wednesday was Oxford, but it doesn't really matter. So I think that was probably one of my, like, the most favorite trips that I've done. It was like a trip within a trip, and it was so good. Pretty much my entire family went, and we stayed in this Airbnb together, and we played games until, like, God knows what time. It was just such a good time. And then Thursday was another day in London. We did a walking tour that kind of went through all of the back alleys of London. And of course, we did a little bit more sightseeing. We went up to this thing called the Sky Garden and got to pretty much just look out over London. And then obviously we just walked around. We had a couple of pubs. I just want to say really quick before I move on from this, the train system in the UK, chef's kiss. My life would be so much easier if I could just buy a train pass, catch the train, go to work, catch the train, come home, and not have to drive. Do you know how easy that would be? It would be so easy. So easy. It was, we went from my grandparents to London in less than 45 minutes, and then you just catch a train. We went into Waterloo Station. From Waterloo, you can literally go anywhere. And you could get all the way to, like, Oxford. You could get down to Brighton. Like, my cousin that lives in Brighton went to London with us on the Thursday and literally just caught a train home. No, that was Monday. But she just caught a train from London to Brighton. She didn't even have to drive. Honestly, it would be so much easier without cars. That's also coming from a place of me hating having a car because of everything that has gone wrong with my cars over the last, 6 years. I've had so many things go wrong with vehicles. I just have really terrible luck. So the idea of not having to own a car, and I could never live in a place like New York City. It's just way too, busy for me. But I know most people that live in New York City don't have cars, and I envy you for that. It would make my life so much easier. Anyways, and then Friday. This was the last full day that we were there in the UK, and originally, I can't remember what we were originally doing. I think we were originally driving over to where my parents, their first house where I was born. We went to go look at that Friday, but we were doing that and then going to a place called Sheer, which apparently there's old pubs and all of this really cool stuff to see. And then the Saturday, my parents and my brother flew out on the Sunday. So on the Saturday, they were doing this really long walk/hike through the English countryside to go to one of the pubs that we visited, the one that I was talking about that was built in the 1100s. And I wanted to do that hike so bad. So I basically bullied everybody into doing it on the Friday instead of the Saturday so that we could participate. Big mistake. Regretted it quite a lot. If you follow me on Instagram, you know. So we woke up that morning and we met, my grandparents live off of a bridle path. And if you don't know if you're not familiar with bridle paths, basically they're public rights of way that, one, people can access the back of their homes via car. But you can also ride your horse along it. So there's just lots of public rights of way that you can ride your horse on. You can walk through farmers' fields as long as there is a right of way there for people to walk. You have to obviously stay on the pathway. So that's basically what we were doing on the Friday. So we went on the bridle path. We met with some of my other family members, and then we were just walking along. And at one point we were walking through a field, and there was a split in the path, and we went to the left along the river. It's River Mole. And I slipped and I fell and I broke my ankle. At the time, I didn't know I broke it. I thought I just really severely sprained it. I felt a pop. I went down. I slid down the embankment of the river. My uncle slid past me so that he could get just to help me so that like to make sure that I wasn't going to fall into the river. So he went down. My fiance tried to catch me. She went down. And I honestly can say I have never been in so much pain in my life, ever. And it was kind of late in the afternoon. And so I hobbled back to, luckily there was a parking lot nearby. So we only had to get back to the field gate that we were in. And there was a parking lot right there. And my aunt came to pick me up. Me, my fiance, my dad, they helped me get back to the car, went back to my grandparents. I iced it, kept it elevated, slept that night, woke up, size of a freaking football on my foot. Still had no idea. We had a 9.5-hour flight that Saturday. So I woke up that Saturday. We went to the airport, had a wheelchair to get through the airport. I tell you what, having a wheelchair getting through airports, fantastic. We literally blew through everything. It was great. 9.5-hour flight was pretty miserable. I was uncomfortable and it was just not a good time. And then we got home to my parents' house Saturday night and everything was closed, and it wasn't painful enough for me to want to go to the ER and sit there for hours, probably just for them to do whatever. So we drove back to our house on Sunday morning, super early, and went to an orthopedic surgeon because I knew that it was not a good injury. No injury is good, obviously, but I knew it was bad. But I just assumed that, honestly, I feel like it's probably the best case scenario what happened. But I was thinking like I stretched out one of my tendons or whatever. I was really hoping it wasn't like a full tear of any of the tendons or ligaments and that it was just like a partial and it would heal itself, like just knit itself back together. Nope. It's broken. I have a non-dislocated oblique fracture of my fibula bone. So I've got this really cool boot on. He said that I shouldn't need surgery to have it fixed, which is great because I have medical anxiety, and if somebody had told me I needed surgery to fix my bone, I would have been panicking. I still panic. I have mild panic attacks every so often when I think about it, because I'm paranoid that I'm going to like bump it and it's going to dislocate, but apparently it's not that easy to dislocate a fracture like I'm thinking it is, so I think I'm good. But my mental health over the last couple of days has not been great. Really since it happened. I have pretty bad medical anxiety, and I hate the doctor. I hate the dentist. I literally hate everything. I have mild hypochondria. It's self-diagnosed hypochondria, but I see something and I immediately think the worst. So it's just like a combination of everything. My mental health yesterday, and even just like after it happened, just randomly bursting into tears. Yesterday was awful. I don't know if anybody here has ever had to use crutches before, but I have literally never in my life broken a bone. I think I've broken a pinky toe. What can you do for a broken pinky toe? Literally nothing. But I've never in my life broken a bone. This is a first for me. I've never had to use crutches. I've had stitches twice. So this whole experience is brand new to me. I've never done it before. Crutches, man, absolutely not. I hate every second of using crutches. They are currently right there. It hurts. Like literally, basically my entire armpit is just bruised. There's not an unscathed piece of skin in either one of my armpits. Sorry if this is too much information, but I'm just like, my flappers are gasted over this whole entire situation. I'm glad that it happened the last day of our trip because I can only imagine if that had happened early on. It would have been such an awful trip, honestly. But Yeah, so there's that. But the good news is I don't have to get surgery at the current moment. Um, I have to wait 2 weeks and I'm going back for a follow up to get some x rays done. So at that point, right now I'm in a boot and I can't bear any weight on it at all, even though it's my fibula, which is not the tibia is your weight, I guess, your weight bearing bone, and then the fibula is the support. So it does carry a little bit of weight, but not as much as if it was the tibia. So I am using crutches. I bought a scooter so I can zip around on it. It's fun. I'm enjoying myself with that. I don't have to use the crutches right now, which is good. I mean, I'm still using them here and there just to like go short distances, but the scooter is mostly what I'm using now to get around the house. But yeah, so 2 weeks of absolutely no weight put on it. And then after the 2 weeks, they're going to re-x-ray it and just see if it's healing itself. And if it is, I can start to, first off, I can start driving so I can go to work. He said I could possibly do that next week, but it's really just going to depend on me and if I'm comfortable with that. I can take it off to drive and then put it back on. And of course, don't put any weight on it beyond doing that. But this week is definitely nada. So after the 2 weeks, hopefully it's good and I can start, I don't know, I'm probably going to be too scared to try and walk on it quite at that point, but I'm at least 6 weeks in the boot. I mean, honestly, are we surprised that something else has happened to me? Truly, because I feel like this whole year has just been chaos. Absolute chaos. So, anyways, aside from that last Friday, the trip was literally so amazing. I'm already trying to like figure out when I can go back again. We're trying to think about doing Christmas, obviously not this year, but maybe next year doing a Christmas trip to the UK, which would be so fun. But yeah, that is my trip recap, which is just so, it's so all over the place, but we did so much and I loved every second of it except for breaking my ankle. But that's my trip. So now we're going to get into what I worked on because I couldn't just like flat out take a week and a half off. I mean, I could, but I did want to work on some things here and there. So I brought a full carry-on suitcase and a backpack full of yarn. Spoiler alert, I barely made a dent in any of it. So there's that. But the Wednesday that we flew out, we had some time to kill at my parents' house. So I actually just recently bought all of the Fable Friends by Oakham Marlow because they're so cute. And that was basically what I took with me to work on for the entire trip was just the yarn to make Fable Friends. So I made a bear while I was at my parents' waiting to leave for our flight. So there's that. So cute. I haven't made any outfits yet, but just working on the bodies. And then while we were in the UK, I didn't work on anything on the plane because we did the red-eye flight and I spent the entire time trying to sleep unsuccessfully for the most part, but I did try. So most of this stuff was made while we had some downtime, which wasn't a whole lot, but I made another bear in this kind of, I think this is Mushroom by Premier Basics Chenille. He obviously does not have his nose yet, but there's another body. And then I moved on and I started making, I can't think of what the pattern is actually called off the top of my head, but I have this cutie little ballerina mouse. I want to call it Maeve, but I don't think that's correct. I don't know. This is absolutely adorable. Again, doesn't have the nose because I didn't have the yarn to embroider it with me, but absolutely adorable. I am quite literally obsessed. and I can't wait to see how these do at my markets in the fall. And then I got through most of a second. Oop, her leg's a little wonky. Most of a second mouse. I have the ear made, but I haven't sewn it on. And then I need to do the slipper laces and obviously embroider the nose. And that is all she wrote, which I'm perfectly fine with. Sorry, my mic died. But like I said earlier, I was really just trying to like live in the moment and enjoy being with my family again. So I worked on it like at our Airbnb first thing in the morning because I was one of the first ones up and we weren't really doing anything. And just kind of like here and there, just worked on what I could as I could. So let's chat about how I handle my business while I'm out of town. Obviously, anytime I go out of town, I'm bringing something to work on because if I have downtime, I want to fill that downtime with something productive because I have a lot of really large markets coming up. So that's kind of like one of the bigger things. The other big thing that I was super, super grateful for, and this is like a hot tip, even if you're not out of town, automatic replies on Etsy. One of the things that I did was I extended my shipping time. Instead of like, you can put your Etsy shop on vacation, which is fine. If you're going out of town for like a month, I would recommend doing the vacation mode. However, if you are not going out of town for that long, I do not recommend vacation mode. I have seen it destroy shop algorithms. I did it one time when I first started my business and it tanked all of my statistics for about 3 weeks after I even turned it back on. So I do not use vacation mode anymore. Again, if you are going out of town or are unavailable for an extended period of time, definitely use it because you don't want to just leave your shop there to fend for itself for a long period of time. But I usually extend my ship time so that I have plenty of time when I get home to ship out the orders. So, for example, since we were going out of town for a week and a half, and I needed like a day or two at the beginning and then I wanted a little bit of a buffer at the end, I set my ship time to 2 to 3 weeks. So if somebody bought something the Wednesday that we flew out, I didn't have to ship it until the Wednesday after we got back, which gave me 3 days to get it out, which is perfectly fine for me. So that is like the biggest tip, is just extend your shipping times. And honestly, I'm going to leave my shipping times where they are because we're coming up to the busy season, and if the week and a half we were out of town is any indication as to how hectic the Christmas season is going to be, I am definitely going to need all of the time that I can get with for fulfilling orders, along with doing markets and market prepping. The other one is automatic replies. I think I already said it, but I set up an automatic reply for the first half of my trip. I think the maximum time that you can have it set up for is 5 days, which is fine. But we were doing like a trip out and I wasn't sure about signal and all of that, so it was actually quite perfect. But you can set up an automatic reply, so when somebody messages you, it'll spit it back to them and it counts towards your replying within 24 hours, which is super helpful because star seller, you have to reply to all of your messages within 24 hours, 95% of them rather. And I lost Star Seller because I was missing messages because I don't always get notifications from Etsy, which is really, really frustrating. I get them most of the time, but then occasionally I don't get the actual notification and I miss a message for 24 hours. So I lost my Star Seller status. I'm slowly getting there. I think I'm at 94% and you have to be 95%. I don't know that I'm going to get that because today is the last day of September, which is such a massive bummer because I'm so close. But automatic replies, you can say whatever you want in them, but for mine, I basically said, hey, thanks so much for reaching out. I'm currently traveling out of the country with family and I'm in a different time zone, so I may not be able to respond back to you quickly. However, most of my messages are about the custom orders, so I added in a little blurb saying if you have purchased a custom loaf cat, please go ahead and send your photos and include details about color of eyes and nose that you would like. That's pretty much all I did in mine, was just let them know like, hey, I'm traveling out of the country, this is an automatic reply. If this doesn't answer your question, I will be in touch with you as soon as I possibly can. But that message counts as an initial response to your customer, and it does count towards the Etsy seller thing, the star seller. So that's something that I might start implementing like during the week when I'm at work and I'm doing other things, is just having an automatic reply like, hey, thanks so much for reaching out, I'll be in touch, blah blah blah, whatever. It's something I'm considering doing, especially because I'm not always getting notifications from Etsy. So yeah, those are my like top 2 suggestions. The biggest thing being making sure your shipping time is set accordingly so that you don't have to scramble to get orders out when you get back, because that would be the worst. I've actually got 3 loaf cat orders ready to go as we speak. Those are going out tomorrow, so.
Okay, I am hopping back on here because I have something really exciting. So, as you know, I have been stuck at my house for a week. We are officially a week into me breaking my ankle. And just as a quick update, today was the first day that I have actually felt like a human being. I've been showering and cleaning myself and being sanitary. Don't get me wrong, but like today I was able to just like be in the shower, and I shampooed and conditioned my hair. I washed my face really well. Like, I don't know, I felt like a brand new person when I got out of the shower today. I put on regular leggings. I'm still in my handy dandy boot, but I have leggings on and I'm not in my pajamas all day today. So I just feel like a brand new person. And yesterday, was it yesterday? I don't know. But if you have been, like, if you follow me on Instagram or if you've seen my shorts here on YouTube, you know that I got some random inspiration this week. So I wanted to come on here and show you guys because I'm finalizing it and I'm hoping to post about it on Sunday maybe, which is obviously yesterday when this video goes live. So this will be up already, but I just wanted to show you guys. So I randomly was making breakfast like 2 days ago, and I looked over at our kitchen table because, as you know, we're purging and cleaning out and doing all the things around our house. Thank God we're not moving this month like we were originally planning on it. It would have been a nightmare. But I randomly looked over at our kitchen table and I saw this guy sitting over there. And I was like, oh my gosh, that is the cutest little nugget I've ever seen in my entire life. And you guys know I have this really bizarre obsession with mushrooms right now. It's been like that for a couple of months now. I've got mushrooms all over my office. I don't know if you're really going to be able to see. Let's see if I can. There's a mushroom like vase right there, and then in that mushroom vase there's like a mushroom glass thing. I don't know. I've just got mushrooms all over my office. Oh, mushroom lamp. I actually have 2 of those. There's one there and then there's one up here too that's hiding behind this door. You can't really see it. Anyways, I digress. And so I saw that guy on my kitchen table and I was like, oh my gosh, that is so cute, and it would make a really cute plushie. So this is Fergus. I am literally obsessed with him. I love him so much. And I genuinely, one of my Teresa commented, was like, oh, it looks like it's Jellycat inspired. When I asked in my stories, I posted like his body, and I genuinely didn't even think about Jellycats because I was modeling it after that, and I do not own a single Jellycat, so they're not really my thing, but it definitely is kind of Jellycat inspired now that I look at it. But it's got like a pretty flat base, and then my plan, so this is the first little dude in my Bookshelf Buddy series. And y'all know I love reading, and I love finding ways to kind of mix and match my different, like my favorite hobbies together. So this is Fergus the Fun Guy, and he is plushie number 1 in my brand new Bookshelf Buddy series. And they have flat bottoms so that they can sit on a bookshelf, and you have the option of also including some weighted pellets in the bottom of him, so you can use him as like a bookend, or he can just chill on your desk as like a little desk buddy. My plan is to do the jumbo version like this, and then I really would like to do a mini version at some point, but for right now I'm just focusing on the jumbo versions. And this is the first iteration, I guess, of this pattern. I have since modified the top, which I'll show you in a second, but he has a cutie little surprise under his cap. He has little gills under his mushroom cap, and I'm kind of obsessed with it. I can't lie. I am so excited and so proud of this design. I love him. I love his like body shape. He kind of, I don't know. I love him. And you can even kind of pop his little mushroom hat a little bit so you can see the gills. So it's kind of like articulated. I don't know. Hopefully you know what I'm talking about. Probably not. But I literally love him so much. I'm obsessed. So this one is made with mostly burlap blanket. This is Premier Basics chenille yarn, so they pair really well together. The safety eyes are by Christine over at What's Up Cupcake. This is the derpy color of her safety eyes, and they're 25 millimeter, I think these are. Christine, I'm finally using my safety eyes. Please clap. Everybody please clap, because I have been a hoarder of safety eyes, and this is the second pair that I have used. So let's all just clap for a second. And then I wanted to modify the top just a little bit because I wanted it to be a little bit less round and have a little bit more of like a point to the top. So I made another one in Parfait Chunky, and I modified the top just a smidge. I think I added maybe 2 rows to it to get the point. And he's so cute. I didn't put a smile on this one, but I did put blush. And again, he's got the cutie little gills. I literally am so obsessed with this pattern, and I can't wait to fully finalize it. I've got to take some pictures because I'm using puff stitches instead of bobble stitches, so I want to make sure I get a picture. And then the technique that I use for the gills, I also need to take photos of that and just kind of fill out the rest of the pattern. But I'm planning on doing a tester call for Fergus on Sunday. I want to make one more just to make sure everything works, and he is no-sew, which is also great. But I'm planning on doing a tester call on Sunday, so by the time this video goes up, there should be a tester call over on my Instagram. So this is a great time for me to do a shameless plug. If you are not following me on Instagram and you like to pattern test, I have so many ideas for new patterns. And since I'm stuck at home, I've been really keeping up with my order making of like loaf cats and some market prepping, which I'll show you guys in the next video. for next week, this is a great time to jump over there. It's linked in the description, but you can also find me right here. This is my username over on Instagram. I am mostly active over on Instagram. Obviously, I do my weekly videos here. I post shorts occasionally, but Instagram is kind of where you can see the most up to date. I post photos of Rosie all the time. So today she got a photo op and we bought her a little lion hooded towel for her after she gets baths, and it's so stinking cute. So I posted a picture of that. So you're missing out if you're not on my Instagram. The other really exciting thing, so something that I have been meaning to pick up for a very long time. I bought supplies to make safety eyes probably 6 months ago, and I just haven't had the time to do anything. But now I'm stuck sitting in my chair or a chair. So today I was like, you know what? I'm going to get my safety eye stuff out. So because I use so many gold and green eyes on my loaf cats, I was like, I'm just going to start making some of those because I keep running out of my little glitter discs. So the lighting is not super great, but I painted gold 18 millimeters. I'm kind of obsessed, I can't lie. And then I also painted green safety eyes today. I made a bunch of them because I way overdid it on the resin. But it's all experiments, right? So I'm really excited about that. I don't know that they're going to be something that I ever sell, or if I did, I might do like limited drops. I'm not really sure what that looks like right now. So stay tuned for that. But I'm really excited that I finally broke out all of my safety eye supplies because I've had them forever and it would have been a waste of money if I didn't use them. So I'm really excited about that too. But I think that's all I have to update you on for right now. I hope you guys enjoyed. I know this was kind of all over the place and I really glossed over my trip to the UK, but when I filmed that portion, I was kind of in a lot of pain. So I did kind of rush through it, so I apologize. It was, like I said, I said, it was a really, really fantastic trip. It was so lovely being around my family again. Zero complaints, even after I broke my ankle while we were there. I'm glad that it happened on the last day. I can't lie. That would have been so awful. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, and if you enjoy this kind of content, make sure you hit the subscribe button. You can even hit the bell notification so you get notified whenever I post. And I think that will also notify you if I post shorts as well. So if you want to be notified whenever I post, make sure to hit that as well. Give this video a like. Make sure you let us know if you were crocheting anything while you were watching. Let us know what you're working on in the comments. Thank you again so much for joining me today. I know this was a bit of a crazy all over the place video, but hopefully you enjoyed it and we're at least able to get some crocheting done. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!